Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Kindness Advantage. I am your host, Cindy Rowe, and in 10 minutes or less, we will explore ways to bring kindness into every corner of your life. And, in today's episode, we're going to start with a question. Well, actually, it starts with the importance of asking one. Have you ever noticed how quickly our brains fill in the blanks? Someone doesn't respond to your text. They must be upset with me. A coworker walks past without saying hello. They're ignoring me. Someone cuts you off in traffic. What a jerk. Within seconds, we've created an entire story. And the funny part is, most of us should probably never become detectives because our brains are incredibly creative, but they're usually just writing fiction. And one of the kindest things we can do wasn't offering our advice, but offering curiosity. I've been there. In fact, it happened to me today, right? I appreciate communication. And when I don't get the communication promptly, I start to wander and think. And so this is a message for me that will probably help you too. Our brains are constantly trying to make sense of this world. Psychologists call this the fundamental attribution error. It's our tendency to explain someone else's behavior by assuming it's about their personality rather than their circumstances. Someone late, they're irresponsible, instead of maybe traffic was terrible. Someone seems distracted, they don't care. Instead of, I wonder what they're carrying today. Curiosity interrupts assumptions, and assumptions are often where kindness gets lost. So, researchers at Harvard found something fascinating. People consistently underestimate how much others enjoy being asked meaningful questions. In one study, participants who asked deeper, more thoughtful questions reported feeling more connected than those who stayed with surface level conversation. Think about that. The question itself became an act of kindness, not because it solved anything, but because it made the other person feel seen. And isn't that what most of us really want? To feel like someone genuinely wants to know us? So we have to think about better questions can actually create better conversations. Now, have you ever asked somebody, how are you? And well, their answer is good, fine, busy. Boop, conversation is over. We've all done it, like a lot. But, we've actually answered, I'm good. And we're juggling like 3 grocery bags, checking our phone, and trying to remember why we walked in the kitchen in the first place, and wondering what day it is, right? It's just like a reflex. But better questions create better conversations, and better conversations create stronger relationships. So instead of asking, how are you? Maybe try, what's been the best part of your week? Or what's something you're really looking forward to? Watch how the conversation changes. And I truly believe curiosity is kindness in action. Think about the people who've made you feel the most valued. Were they the people who talked the most? Probably not. They were probably the people who listened, who remembers your dog's name, who followed up on something you mentioned way long time ago. Somebody who asked, how did that presentation go? Or how's your mom doing? Those moments stick with us, not because they've had the perfect advice, but because they cared enough to ask. And that's kindness. So think about this. Imagine you're standing in line at your favorite coffee shop, and the barista seems rushed, short with customers, barely smiling. You have 2 choices. One choice or option is to think, wow, they're rude. Or the second option is, I'm wondering if they're having just one of those days. Nothing about the situation changed, only our story changed. Curiosity creates compassion. Assumptions create distance. And here is the truth. We rarely know the chapter someone else is living in. And, there's a quote by Walt Whitman that I actually saw this when I was in Arkansas this spring. And it's something that I need to actually put on a sticky note in front of me, to be honest. And I will do that after I record this podcast. But it said, be cautious, not judgmental. Whether or not he actually said it is debated, but I don't think anyone's debating the wisdom behind that, right? Curiosity opens doors, judgment closes them. Be curious, not judgmental. So here are a few questions that help build kindness. And it's the challenge for you this week. And I want you to replace ordinary questions with intentional ones. So instead of asking, hey, how was your weekend? Try, what made you smile this weekend? See the difference? Instead of, how's work? You can try, what's something that's energizing you at work right now? And my favorite, instead of jumping in with advice, simply say, tell me more. And lean in. 3 little words, tell me more. Those words communicate something very powerful. It says, I'm here, I'm listening, and you matter to me. People don't always need their problems fixed, right? Sometimes they just need us to hear them. And this is true in friendships as well as in leadership. Google's Project Aristotle, one of the largest studies on team performance, found that the biggest predictor of high-performing teams wasn't intelligence or experience. It was psychological safety. People perform better when they feel safe speaking up. Curious leaders create that safety. Instead of asking, why did you do that? They ask, can you walk me through your thinking? One question feels like blame. The other one actually feels like a partnership. Same destination, but completely different experience. So here's the sentence that I hope sticks with you today. Kindness says, I care about you. Curiosity says, I want to understand you. And imagine if we practiced both. How different would our conversations be, or our families, our workplaces, our communities, even our social media feeds? I have a feeling that we'd spend a lot less time arguing and a lot more time understanding. So imagine what would happen if every day we replaced one assumption with one question, one judgment with one conversation, one reaction with one moment of curiosity. I think we discover something very beautiful. Most people aren't trying to make our lives harder. They're simply carrying stories we don't get to see. And kindness often begins with wanting to understand those stories. So this week, ask one better question every day, not because you're trying to gather information, but because you're trying to build a connection. Curiosity isn't just good communication. It's one of the greatest gifts we can give to another person. Hey, if this episode made you think of someone who asks great questions or always makes people feel seen or heard, share it with them. And if you're enjoying the Kindness Advantage, I would love for you to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I want to remind you to stay curious, stay kind, and remember that every great conversation starts with a great question. And I will end it like I end it every time. Together, we create waves of change through kindness. Thank you so much for listening.